Hi guys, welcome to the first card of my monthly hero from the December 2016 kit. And I'm going to take the Cheers stamp, ink it with Rich Razzleberry Stamp It Up ink, and we're going to do a gradation of color. The first stamped we're going to stamp off twice, so it's the lightest. And then the second image we are stamping off once. I was having a little trouble lining it up. That middle image will be the darkest. And then we'll repeat. The next color will be stamped off once again. And then that last stamp we will stamp off twice, so it's the lightest. So that one in the middle will be the darkest. And then we will emboss that middle image with clear embossing powder. And I forgot to clean off my stamp before using my Versamark, and so I got the pink mixed on my stamp. And then we're just going to use some clear embossing powder, and this is just from the Recollections from Michaels. And I don't know if you'll notice, but I forgot to use my embossing buddy, so once I finished embossing, some of that got onto the top and bottom stamped image, and I'm actually okay with that. It's not very noticeable on film. And then I still love just to watch the embossing powder heat up, or turn shiny. It's almost like magic to me. And then since I forgot to use an embossing buddy, I did notice while I'm inking the edges, embossing powder all over the card front, so I always try not to let that interfere with my inking. And since I'm not familiar with how to speed through this section, you're watching the entire inking around the edges, and you can fast forward through this. But as I'm inking, I was trying to make the corners darker than the rest of the edges. And I just take a makeup brush and I try to get rid of all that excess embossing powder. If you use embossing buddy, you don't usually get that excess powder. And then I'm just going to clean up my space real quick. And then I'm going to take some fun foam so I could pop that top stamped piece up a little bit, and I'm going to about 1/8 of an inch shorter than that card piece. But before I cut the fun foam, I will cut my frame out with the pink metallic cardstock that came with the kit with one of my stitch dies. And that centerpiece I will save for another project. That's one way to make your cardstock last longer, is to cut out that centerpiece if you don't really need it. So here I'm lining up the piece of fun foam, putting all my layers together to see how it looks. And I thought I had this brilliant idea to trace around the frame onto the black cardstock so that I knew where to put the adhesive. It is a good trick if you put down the frame or the black piece of cardstock correctly. So then that outer edge I will put the liquid adhesive. And then this is where I get confused and I put the frame on the wrong side. But I figured out my mistake quickly, and I put the black piece on top of the frame. And it turned out just fine. None of the glue leaked out, or there was just a couple of spots that it was noticeable on the back. And then I use the snail glue, which is a tape glue, on the card, so the fun foam, if you're using a liquid adhesive, it just kind of slides around and never really dries. So if you have tape adhesive, I would use that with fun foam. And then I didn't put that down in the center, so I am cutting off the top piece of fun foam that is hanging off the edge. And again, I'm using the tape runner to glue that down to the background layers. And then I just kind of eyeball it to get it in the center, then press it down firmly. And then I'm using some of the rhinestones that were a little freebie gift in this kit that I got. And I'll put 4 in each of the corners. And then I press them down firmly. And then I take a piece of white cardstock and cut it in half the long way on the cardstock, which I believe I've heard people say it's called the hot dog cut. So we are using the hot dog cut for this card. So we're cutting it at 4 1/4 inches. And I'm just folding it in half And then I will use my bone folder to give me a nice crisp edge. And again, I used the liquid adhesive on the back of the card. And there you have it, card number 1. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel and stay tuned for more cards in this series. Bye guys.